Hi, my name is Keith. Welcome to this tutorial on configuring email layouts in Infor ION workflows. Infor ION is an enterprise application integration platform, and ION Workflow is a component of that and provides a process automation solution. In ION Workflow, you can notify users of activities, and this is very common. Whether that's approval activities, meaning you need to log into the system and approve something, or that an event happened, just a notification, and no action is required. ION Workflow has a standard email format when you're emailing people these types of notifications. But this can be changed, and that's what we'll be doing, is changing that format in this tutorial. Note that email is not the only way that you can notify people. You can also notify users in the Infor portal itself, in an inbox message, or by contacting another system via an API to maybe send a text message to a telephony system or some other use case that you have. But today we're going to be focusing on the email message format. So let's say that your manager comes to you and says, hey, this is the notification that we've been receiving currently to approve requisitions. And this is actually the standard layout that you get, the default layout for emails from ION Workflow. But your manager would like to see a layout like this. They would like to see the company's logo, Acme logo, in the right-hand corner instead of Infor's logo. They'd like some company colors put on styling on the email, the blue backgrounds. They'd like some approve and reject links right in the email so that they can click on approve and approve the requisition right from there instead of having to go into the system and find it. Optionally, they'd like a link to go directly into the system to see the requisition there. And some of the detailed information like the workflow ID and the time it was created should be moved to the bottom, along with what environment created this. Maybe you have a dev, a test, and a production environment. You get emails from all of them, and you're not sure where it came from. So you'd like to see which environment the email came from as well. Put that at the bottom. So if this was the use case that you have, this manager asking you to make these changes, how would we go about this? Well, first you need to download the current set of email templates from your environment. Let's take a look at how that's done. So here I am in my environment, wherever that is, my dev, test, or production environments, whichever they are. And I've gone into the app switcher, navigated to the ION Desk. The ION Desk is the administrative interface for ION. I've gone all the way down to configuration, then ION service, and then clicked on the tab configuration files. And here you'll see this email template section that you'll have to expand, and you'll click download. And if you click download, that will create a zip file into your download directory of the email templates. Once you've downloaded that file and opened it up, you'll see that there are 6 different files in there. And to make the changes that our manager has asked for, we'll need to add 3 new files to it. One will be a custom logo for that blue logo that we saw in the example. A properties file, we'll explain what that is. It's just a text file that I'll explain later. And then a subfolder with the same name as the workflow. So when we make our changes, what this zip file is going to look like afterwards is like this. The subfolder will have 1 file in it, and this will actually be an HTML-based layout of the email that we want to send. So the first file is going to be the custom logo graphic that the manager wanted us to display, that Acme blue box logo. And that's going to be this file right here. The next change we'll make is to create that workflow properties WF custom KK properties file. Now that's a little long name. You have to get the naming correct because the first part, the workflow properties file, is static. You have to name it that. And then the next part of the file, the WF custom KK, is actually the name of my workflow that this properties file is going to represent. So you can see in ION Desk, WF custom KK is the name of my workflow. So that's why it appears here. It has to be exact, so don't make a typing error here. Now, when you open up that file, it's just a text file. You're going to need to enter in 2 lines to do the changes we want to make. One is to do the logo equals custom logo.png. That's going to represent where that file is and the name of the file that we want to include in our email. We did in the previous step. And then the second line is going to be to tell it to look for more information in this subfolder, WF Custom KK. So we're going to say, for the approval task, look for a file called step_approval task template. Okay. Why does it say approval task? Because again, back in our workflow in ION, the task that's going to be sending the email out is called approval task. So we have to take that name exactly and put it here as approval task. Okay. The next name, the next value for the file to look up can be anything you want. We're going to call it step approval task template. And so in this directory, we're going to drop another file called step approval task template .htm. And this is actually going to be our HTML-based email layout for the email. And so we've got everything in place as far as the structure of the file, but now we need to actually lay out that HTML to make the email look like we have on the right. Again, the custom blue background, insert in that custom logo we've uploaded, the green and red buttons for approve and reject. All of these changes are going to be in the actual HTML file. So let's take a look at what that file will look like. Now this is the actual HTML template, and you don't have to write all this from scratch. You can grab from the zip file you downloaded the email template.htm and open that as your template. You just need to save it into this new subdirectory as a step_approval task template. Okay, so one of the first changes we wanted to make was make the colors of the background of some of the table cells kind of this blue color. So at the very beginning we have some CSS styling, and I've chosen this blue color here, and I've just added it in, replaced the gray color that existed in those background areas. Very simple. First change done. Now as I scroll down, I see the rest of the email being laid out. And the next change I want to make is to add some custom actions in for the approve and reject. Here is the HTML code I've done for that. Now don't worry, all this code, this entire zip file, I'm going to make available as part of this video, so you don't have to be writing any of this down or trying to type exactly what I typed. It's all going to be downloadable for you. I'm just going to walk through the major changes here so you understand what you're seeing in the sample file I'm going to give you. In this section for the custom actions, the key here is to make a link, here's your web link, to this bracket URL to inbox bracket. This is a private variable that ION will use to insert a HTTP link for your tenant to your inbox. So as soon as ION sees this, it'll replace this, it'll substitute it with the actual value. But then you need to follow that up with and custom action result action value equals approved. This approved has to be the name of the actual action in your task step. So if you had yes, no, you had I think so, I disagree, whatever actions you've decided to use in your workflow, that term has to be the actual term listed here. And then the term you want to be listed in the email, which this case is approved. And then we wanted to reject one too, so the exact same thing, but with the term rejected, which is what I used in the workflow, and then the term shown in the email. Notice I also put in color codes here for the green and red that the manager asked for. He also asked for right below this, that in case they didn't want to just click approve or click reject, they wanted to actually go into the Infor inbox and see the task to approve there, that I would put another link right here just to the inbox. Note this doesn't have the suffix on there of the link to do an action. It just goes to the inbox. And then I have the words or view online is what the viewer will see. Note that with any of these, the approve, the reject, or this link to just go to the inbox, when the user's in their email client and they click on these links, it's going to open up a browser, and they're going to have to authenticate, right, to make sure to tell the system that it's really them before the action will take place, before the approval will take place, before the reject will take place, or before they're allowed to go in and see the task in the actual Infor inbox. The next change we wanted to make was to take some information that was at the top, the activity date, activity ID and the created date, and move it down to the footer in the bottom, and also add the tenant ID, which which environment the email came from. And so I have all that here. I said the sent by Infor OS footer, and right below that I just added the environment, the ID, and the created date. And optionally I have some commented out text here. If you wanted to put a due date in here, when the task was due or what the priority was, you could do that too. I'll leave that in there as a comment for you to play with and add later if you'd like. By the way, I didn't mention it, but right up here where it says logo image, that's where it's going to place the blue Acme logo that we uploaded. Note that we don't specify the file name or the file path here. We just say logo image, and based on what we did previously, ION will figure out where that logo image is. So I'm going to save this file, add it into my zip file just like we mentioned, and again I'm giving you this entire zip file as an example. I'll look in the video notes for where to download that. And then as the very last step, back in the ION Desk application, in the configuration ION service menu, where we downloaded the zip file, we're going to upload a zip file right here. It's going to give us a warning. We'll say yes. We'll choose our file locally and upload it. And as soon as we upload it, instantly, any future workflow task will be using this new set of email templates. And you're done. Now we went through a very simplistic example. There's much more complex styling that can be done in these email templates. For all the details on how to do this, please reference the ION Desk user guide. It's available online on docs.infor.com. I've got it open right now on the screen under ION OneView Management and Troubleshooting ION Activities. You'll find a whole section on customizing email templates. In fact, you'll find a whole list of those placeholders that I mentioned, like the logo image and the tenant ID that I kind of secretly knew how to use. They're all listed here in the user guide for you to use. Note too that we customized a approval step, the emails coming out of approval step, but you can customize the emails coming out of a notification step and a workflow too. So we're not just limited to approval steps as well. I hope that was helpful in understanding how to customize ION workflow email templates. Thanks for watching.